right now, as you're watching this video. Time is literally accelerating around you, not metaphorically, not in some abstract way, actually accelerating. Remember when you were 7 years old and Christmas felt like it was never going to arrive? When summer vacation stretched out like an endless ocean of possibility? Fast forward to today. You blink and suddenly it's December again. You set New Year's resolutions and before you know it, you're buying Halloween candy. Where did the year go? The clocks are ticking at exactly the same rate they always have. A minute is still 60 seconds. An hour is still 60 minutes. Yet your brain is screaming, where did the time go? You're not losing your mind. You're experiencing what Bergson called the great illusion of modern life. In 1896, while everyone was celebrating the dawn of the modern age, Henri Bergson was writing about a coming crisis. He predicted that as society became more mechanized, more scheduled, more obsessed with efficiency, we would lose our ability to experience real time. We would become prisoners of the clock, and time would slip through our fingers like water. But before we dive into Bergson's mind-bending revelation, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. And make sure you turn your notifications on, because this is just the beginning of a series that's going to change how you experience every single day of your life. Now, let me prove to you that what you're experiencing is real, measurable, and happening to millions of people right now. You might be thinking this is just in my head, or everyone feels this way as they get older. But here's the thing, you're not imagining it. This is a real, measurable phenomenon that science has been studying for decades. And the results are absolutely mind-blowing. In 2005, researchers at Duke University conducted a massive study on time perception across different age groups. What they found was shocking. By age 50, most people feel like time is moving 25% faster than it did when they were 20. By age 70, it feels like it's moving 50% faster. This isn't just getting older. This is a systematic acceleration of our subjective experience of time. But wait, it gets worse. Follow-up studies in 2019 and 2023 found that this acceleration is happening faster than ever before. Gen Z and millennials are reporting time acceleration starting in their early 20s. What used to happen gradually over decades is now happening in just a few years. Now, for decades, psychologists thought they had this figured out with something called the proportional theory. The idea was simple. When you're 5 years old, 1 year represents 20% of your entire life experience. When you're 50, 1 year is only 2% of your life. So naturally, it feels shorter, right? But recent neuroscience research shows that the proportional theory only explains about 30% of why time accelerates. There's something much deeper happening in your brain. Dr. David Eagleman at Stanford discovered something that would have made Bergson smile. When you experience something new, a first kiss, a foreign city, even just taking a different route to work, your brain goes into overdrive. It's encoding thousands of new details, creating what neuroscientists call dense memories. These dense memories are like high-definition recordings. Every smell, every texture, every emotion gets cataloged. And when your brain tries to reconstruct how long that experience lasted, it looks at all these details and thinks, wow, this must have taken a long time to happen. But when your life becomes routine, same commute, same job, same Netflix shows, your brain switches to autopilot. It stops creating those detailed memory markers. And without those markers, your brain can't distinguish between yesterday, last week, and last month. Time collapses into a blur. Think about it this way. Your brain doesn't experience time in real time. It reconstructs it later from memory. So when you look back at your week and can't remember what you did on Tuesday, your brain thinks, well, if I can't remember it, it must not have been important. It must have been short. And boom, your week feels like it lasted about 2 days. This is why that boring 3-hour meeting feels endless while you're in it, but afterwards, you can barely remember what happened. Your brain stored almost no details, so in hindsight, it feels like it lasted 5 minutes. This is exactly what Bergson was warning about in 1896. He called it the flattening of lived experience. We're not just living faster, we're living less. And our brains are keeping score. But here's where Bergson's warning becomes absolutely chilling. He predicted that as society became more mechanized, more scheduled, more obsessed with efficiency, this time acceleration would get worse. Look around you. We're living in a world he warned about. Smartphones, social media, the gig economy. Everything is designed to keep us in constant, routine distraction. And the result? People are reporting that entire years feel like they lasted about 3 months. Some of my friends tell me they can't remember what they did in 2020, 2021, or 2022. It's all just gone. A 2023 survey found that 68% of adults can't distinguish between events that happened 6 months ago versus 2 years ago. They're all filed under recent in their minds. We're living through a mass epidemic of temporal amnesia. But here's the kicker. The people who report the strongest time acceleration are also the ones living the most routine lives. The ones who've optimized everything, who eliminated friction, who've made their lives as predictable as possible. But here's where the story gets really fascinating. Because while everyone was focused on the science of time perception, they were missing the real battle that was happening in the world of physics. A battle between two titans of 20th century thought. And the outcome of that battle is still shaping how you experience every single day of your life. Einstein and Bergson had a war over time. And I'm not talking about some polite academic disagreement. I'm talking about a full-blown intellectual smackdown that literally changed how we think about reality. Einstein wins Nobel Prizes, bends space-time, becomes the most famous scientist who ever lived. But this one French philosopher? He looked Einstein dead in the eye and said, "Your time is fake." How do you tell the guy who invented relativity that he's wrong about time? Well, Bergson had receipts. Einstein says time is mathematical, and it's this cold, clinical thing that ticks the same for everyone, everywhere. Very neat, very precise, and also very wrong. Because here's what Einstein missed. Right now, you're watching this video. Your phone says you've been watching for 2 minutes. But how long did those 2 minutes feel? If you're bored, feels like 10 minutes. If you're hooked, feels like 30 seconds. That's not Einstein's time. That's your time. That's what Bergson called lived time. And he was about to prove it was more real than anything Einstein ever. The question is, in a world obsessed with productivity hacks and time management, who's going to defend the time that actually matters? The time you feel. And what happened in Paris in 1922 changed everything. April 6, 1922. The French Society of Philosophy. Einstein has just finished explaining relativity to a packed auditorium in Paris. Everyone's minds are blown. The audience is ready to worship this genius. And then Henri Bergson stands up. The most famous scientist in the world just explained how time works. And this 62-year-old French philosopher is about to tell him he's completely wrong, in front of everyone. Bergson goes straight for the jugular. He talks about Einstein's famous twin paradox. You know, where one twin travels to space at near light speed and comes back younger than their Earth twin. Einstein says this proves time is relative to motion and gravity. But Bergson drops the mic. Which twin experiences more time? Which twin actually lives more life? Because the space twin might age less, but they also experience less. They miss wedding funerals, first steps, first words. Who really gets more time? Einstein's response? Ice cold. He looks at Bergson and says, "The time of the philosophers does not exist. The greatest physicist who ever lived just told the greatest philosopher of his era that his life's work is meaningless. The academic world went nuclear. Here's the crazy part. Einstein won that battle. Bergson's reputation never recovered. Physics conquered philosophy. But guess what? 100 years later, neuroscience is proving Bergson was right all along. Scientists at Stanford did this wild experiment. They had people do new, challenging tasks versus boring, repetitive ones. And guess what? When people did something new, their brains literally perceived 20% more time. 20%. That's not measurement error. That's your brain creating more subjective time when you're actually living instead of just existing. But when you're on autopilot, your brain goes into energy-saving mode. It stops recording detailed memories. It's like your brain says, "Oh, we've seen this before, skip the recording." And when you don't record memories, you don't feel like you lived through time. Think about it. Your brain stores memories like highlights on a sports reel. New experiences, full HD recording. Routine experiences, your brain doesn't even bother hitting record. This is why childhood felt infinite and last month feels like yesterday. A 5-year-old encounters something new every few minutes. Their brain is constantly recording. But you drove the same route to work, ate the same lunch, scrolled the same apps. Your brain filed it under nothing to see here. Here's the test. Think about your last vacation versus your last month at work. The vacation was maybe 7 days. The work month was 30 days, which feels longer in your memory. The vacation, right? Because your brain actually recorded it. Bergson called this 100 years ago. He said routine kills time perception. And now we have the brain scans to prove it. The question is, are you going to use this knowledge or let your life disappear on autopilot? Because I'm about to show you exactly how to hack your brain's time perception. Here's how. First, novelty injection. This is about breaking your patterns. Take a different route to work. Eat something weird for breakfast. Learn a new skill for 10 minutes a day. Your brain will start recording again. I'm not talking about life-changing stuff here. I'm talking about micro-adventures. Instead of scrolling your phone on the train, count how many people are wearing red. Instead of the same coffee shop, try the sketchy one next door. Your brain will thank you. Second, the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. Right now, name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. Boom. You just yanked yourself out of autopilot. Third, embrace boredom. I know, it sounds crazy. But here's what happens when you're bored. Your brain switches to what scientists call default mode. It starts connecting ideas, processing emotions, creating meaning. That's when time slows down. Try this. 1 hour a week with no phone, no Netflix, no distractions. Just you and your thoughts. Watch how long that hour feels. That's your brain remembering how to experience duration. Fourth, intensity over efficiency. Stop trying to optimize everything. Have a conversation where you make eye contact. Eat a meal without checking your phone. Feel the texture of what you're eating. These aren't productivity hacks. They're life hacks. Bergson's prescription was simple. Choose intensity over efficiency. Choose memorable over comfortable. Choose present over perfect. The question isn't whether you have time. The question is, are you going to count the hours or live them? So here we are. Einstein won the battle, but Bergson is winning the war. Science has caught up to philosophy. Your lived experience matters more than any equation. You have a choice right now. You can keep living in Einstein's time, measuring, optimizing, checking boxes. Or you can join Bergson's time rebellion and start actually living your moments. Here's your challenge. For the next week, I want you to track something. I want you to track how many moments you actually felt, how many times you were present enough to notice texture, temperature, emotion. And I want you to drop a comment below right now. Tell me, what's one moment from this past week that felt infinite? What's one experience that made time slow down for you? Because I guarantee you, it wasn't scrolling social media. If this video made you think deeper, hit the subscribe button and let's go further. My channel is designed to help you question the uncommon truths in the society we live in. Don't forget to like and share people who you think would want to watch this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.